Thank you. You know, this is Easter time. A friend of mine sent me a very encouraging text this morning. And he says, he has risen. He has risen. And that is Jesus Christ himself. He's no longer in the sepulchre of the grave. And therefore we have reason to rejoice, those of us of the Christian faith, at the resurrection of Jesus Christ and having borne all manner of our sins. And kwa ndugu Waislamu, we continue to say Ramadan Kareem. Jana jioni tulifanikiwa sana na team tulipotoka upande wa Lunga. Tulienda kwa iftar hapa katika Marcus mosque in Indiani. Tumshukuru sana coordinator wetu ambaye pia ni Sheikh bwana Mpishi na wenzake. Na mnaona kama tungekawia siku nyingine 2-3 kikundi kingekuwa kikubwa. Leo tuwafanikiwa speaker wa bunge ya Machakos amecatch up na sisi, na waheshimiwa hapa mnamjua mheshimiwa Kitui West, mheshimiwa Mashako kutoka kule kwa milima ya Taita Taveta Undanyi, na pia tuna mheshimiwa kutoka Makueni na Susan Kiamba, mheshimiwa Nyenze, and of course our brother here. We have also some team from Kitui County led by the majority leader. Waheshimiwa tuwashukuruni sana kwa uvumilivu wenu na hali ya kujitolea. So this morning we want to talk to you about 4 subjects, 2 or 3 subjects. Ya kwanza ni report ya Nadco. Alafu ya pili ni juu ya fertilizer fake. Ya tatu, we want to talk about freedom of independent media. Na vile sasa tumeona a deliberate attempt to claw back on media gains and the freedom of expression. Ya nne is on corruption. Yani imekuwa sasa is a daily thing. And so tulizungumza jana juu ya report ya Nadco, na vile kwa maoni yetu njama tayari imeundwa. Hatujui kama imekamilika, lakini hata kama imekamilika tunataka wajue tunajua. Mtu anajitokeza ameundwa properly, aelekee mahakama huko Kiambu asimamishe report ya Nadco, na hali report yenyewe ni property ya bunge. Bunge tayari, bunge la Senate na bunge la wakilishi National Assembly walikuwa wamepitisha, wakakubaliana na recommendations za report. Sasa ikasalia tu the enabling legislation, haswa juu ya IEBC. Wakati tulikuwa tukiendelea na mazungumzo kule Bomas, tulikuwa na habari kwamba kulikuwa msukumo mkubwa kiambiwa msipojihadhari, msipojikakamua, mjue kuna jamaa wameenda kwa mahakama. Nia yao ni kujaribu wakimbize mambo yao, iwe ni Kenya kwanza peke yao, ambao watakaounda tume mpya ya IEBC. Hilo halikubaliki. Na kama wataendelea na hiyo route, bila shaka tutajua kwamba wameamua kurig elections hata kabla yenyewe kufanyika. And Kenyans are fed up and tired of election rigging. Kenyans who come out the Senegalese in the recent past. Pekemea hawa watu wa Kenya kwanza, Bomet, Kericho, wa Kenya tayari wako kwa mitaa. This time itakuwa ni viongozi wenyewe kujiunga na wananchi. Lakini kabla hiyo ifanyike, bado kuna nafasi ya kuonyesha kwa mara ya kwanza kuna nia njema ya kujaribu kutekeleza kikamilifu makubaliano ya National Dialogue Committee bila mtu yeyote kujaribu kuleta uhasama huko katikati. So hiyo ni juu ya Nadco. Wao kidhubutu kuweka makamishna wao kufanya nini, na ndio mimi jana nikasema sasa ni jukumu la wale ambao waliteua kamati ya Nadco, hasa ndugu Raila Amolo Odinga na mwenzake Rais William Ruto. Wao wajitokeze, watoe mwelekeo bila kusita, kwa sababu tutaona kama walitutumia vibaya wasipofanya hivyo. Sasa mambo hii fake fertilizer hii imeendelea, sijui KEBS, sijui nani. We would have expected kama kuna nia ya kupigana na ufisadi wa aina hii, na ijulikane kwamba Kenya Kwanza walikuwa na two pet projects. Ya kwanza kwamba ni fertilizer. Tena angawaji imetoka Urusi na wakutaja. Sema sasa bei imeshuka kutoka shilingi 6,500 sasa ni shilingi 2,500. Kumbe ni fake. Kumbe ni fertilizer imechanganywa na mafi ya punda. Maajabu ya mawe. Sijui kama ni limestone mengine fanana. So ukweli kungekuwa na nia tena ya kupigana na ufisadi aina hii, waziri husika angekuwa tayari amepeleka barua yenyewe kujiuzulu. That is what other people do in democracies. If indeed we still pretend we are democracy in this country. Juu ya swala la umuhimu wa uhuru wa waandishi wa habari, wanahabari, kama sio washikadau hawa ambao walianza, mmoja akasema kule kwamba sasa hii ni serikali ya stakeholders. Pengine waliwachukieni wakati huo kutoka wakati ule. Na hali tunajua kwamba Mungu alituweka sisi zote Kenya hii, Wakristo, Waislamu, wasioenda kanisani, Wahindu, wengine tabaka mbalimbali. Nchi yetu ndio hii. Na kwa hivyo waandishi wa habari wanapodhulumiwa, ni dhuluma sio tu dhidi ya waandishi wa habari wenyewe, bali pia Kenya nzima. Tumeona tabia basi kupeana paid advertisements, because that's how you make your money. The media owners. Unikubali niseme Royal Citizen kwa mfano walikuwa upande wa Azimio, and they didn't fear it. They have their right to express themselves. Sasa wao lazima sasa, because the biggest media house, tukubali, lazima sasa wadhulumiwe, wavinyiliwe. Sasa paid advertisements zinaenda kwa kina nani? Star. Lazima tuulize mshikadau wa Star newspaper ni UP. What is the level of circulation ya hiyo Star newspaper? Jameni. Nation Media vile dhuluma hampati lolote. Ni umefika wakati waandishi wa habari na nyinyi mwelekee kwa mitaa kama Wakenya wenzenu. Madaktari tayari wako kwa mitaa. Madaktari hawa kama ambavyo nilitangulia kusema. So pengine wataanza sasa kwenda individually against kila media person, uhuru wa magazeti, uhuru wa kutoa kufanya expression, kama vile uhuru wa maandamano, uhuru wa kujiunga na vikundi, uhuru wa kupicket. Tutaki tena kurudia article 37 ya katiba yetu 2010. Kama sio katiba 2010, nchi ingekuwa mahali pabaya sana. Chini ya utawala wa Kenya Kwanza ingekuwa mambo ingine kabisa. Lakini bado tuwakumbushe kwamba kuna katiba. Ingawaji wengine waliipinga, lakini bado ndio iliwazuilia hawa, wangekuwa pengine hawajafikia huko. Saa jambo hilo la mwisho basi, ufisadi. Ufisadi kila mahali, ufisadi. Sasa tumeona jama ya ufisadi mwingine wa hali ya juu sana. So kama vijana hata chukua vitambulisho, that is pre-rigging the election again. Pre-rigging. Kwa hivyo lazima tuambie mapema, wakubali vijana, kijana yoyote, mwanamke, msichana kwa kijana ambaye amehitimu, amefikisha umri wa miaka 18, apatiwe ID unconditionally na aende ajiandikishe kama mpiga kura, because this is a continuation. Kwa hivyo tunahisi before the next elections, registered Kenyans should be about 30 million. Lakini vile wanavinyilia, na pia natakuwa naangalia huku hapa tupendwi, hapa wanavinyilia zaidi, hatutakubali, tutaenda mitaani tena. Fisadi ndio huo. We saw the index, the amount of money you pay to get what is properly your right kama mwananchi wa Kenya has gone up. Hata nadhani various ministries wahusika wametajwa kiwaziwazi. So it's about time either we stop singing about corruption and do something else, because it's like Kenyans have become immune. We continue to go down the ladder of the country's most corrupt, or is it kwenda juu? Ni bottom up. Natoka bottom naenda juu. Okay. Kwa hivyo na hayo tu, mtamuuliza huyo ndugu na yeye aongeze pengine kwa ile lugha najua sana kama wakili. Kama wakili alisoma lugha kabisa ya Kiingereza hiyo. He can add or subtract. Mheshimiwa Eugene.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we are very perturbed by the recent developments that saw the High Court in Kiambu issuing orders blocking the implementation of the Nadco report. As you're all aware, I was in the dissenting side on the signing of that report, and I didn't sign it because our two key issues that we presented, mainly the issue of the cost of living, was not addressed. That was rejected by our friends in Kenya Kwanza. But now we understand why, because the intention was really to add more taxes, which they have done since we left Bomas. More and more taxes are coming up. And with the budget policy statement in place, the trajectory is increment of taxes across. If we had VAT being increased from 8% to 16% on fuel in the 2023 finance bill, now that VAT is being added even on milk and bread. We had zero rated under Uhuru Kenyatta matters touching on essential commodities, things like bread, milk, just for ordinary Kenyans, families, to have a meal, that basic breakfast meal. Now our friends are also adding VAT on that to 16%. They want to add VAT also 16% in the education sector. Already many parents, as we speak, they were talking of over 300 Kenyan children who are challenges joining secondary schools. Over 100,000 have not joined as we speak because of the challenges that the parents are meeting. Now, if that is added, that burden will go even higher. The most worrying issue was the second issue that we raised at Bomas as Azimio, and this is one of the issues that sent Kenyans on the streets, and that is the issue of electoral justice, the issue of reconstituting IEBC, the issue of doing an audit of the last general elections that was a product of a divided commission. The majority of the commissioners, as they appeared before us, physically and electronically, they were still not owning the results of the 2022 general elections. We heard from them, our two sisters who were in the US, and our two brothers who came to Bomas. They said the results announced by Chebukati were not the results of the commission. Those results were Chebukati's plus a minority of the commission, who are two commissioners. Though the Supreme Court made a decision on the matter, Kenyans still wanted to know exactly what happened. And that is why it was agreed by both sides that there should be an audit of that election, not to reverse the decision of the Supreme Court, but to ensure that future elections avoid the pitfalls of the past election, to ensure that the next elections of 2027, 10th August, that my brother Kalonzo wants to run as president, I want to run as president, there are others who want to run as president. Those elections will be credible, they will be verifiable. Those concerns that have been raised need to be addressed, and an audit will be able to reveal those pitfalls so that before 2027 we have in place remedial measures to address the concerns of Kenyans. That is what was agreed. And I do recall when we went to Kitui, we went to mourn our friend's brother-in-law in Kitui. We were very clear then that for my colleagues, and I really respect the decision they made, who said that though Kenya Kwanza refused the issue of cost of living and want to add taxes, we'll deal with that issue later. It's the next phase of our struggle, as my brother has said, that will actually lead Kenyans back to the streets. But for the sake of the next general election, the sake of reconstituting IEBC, for the sake of ensuring that the issue of delineation of boundaries, that is time-bound in our constitution, is addressed, let us not throw out the baby with the bathwater. In Kitui, I recited a poem by Jonathan Kariara, "For grass will grow." And this parent did say to God that, God, if you're going to take away my only child, then give me strength to dig his grave, for grass will grow. And we did say to William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza team that if they are going to cross the red line and actually interfere with the Bomas talks, the product, in terms of tampering with the electoral justice issue, which was the main issue by Azimio, apart from the issue of cost of living that was rejected, then they must be prepared for the consequences. And we said, let the good Lord give us strength, for grass will grow. Now, what has happened, we want to state here from the coast, that Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and I have been in government. We are experienced ministers. He was our 10th vice president. We know how governments work. We know how the deep state works. We know how the system works. We can see the fingerprints of the deep state, of the system, on this legal roadblock that has been placed in the way of the implementation of the Bomas document. And we do know that already signs have become clear in Parliament. The way the Nadco report is being processed through the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of the House, JLAC, we do know that there have been deliberate delaying tactics on the part of our Kenya Kwanza friends. We have some of our colleagues, like the senior counsel, Tienda Molo, who have been expressed their frustrations through what is happening in that committee. They have called meetings, their colleagues have skipped meetings, so that they don't process that report. So the strategy is to delay implementation in Parliament, and the ultimate strategy now is to derail the implementation of the Nadco report through the courts. And we believe this is state-instigated litigation, state-sponsored litigation to derail this process. And we are saying today that as Azimio, we will not accept these tactics. I always believed that when our colleagues came to bomb us, they did not come with clean hands to the dialogue table. They came with dangerous cards hidden under the table. And I believe they have started playing those dangerous cards in parliament through delay and in courts through derailment that is now happening. They did not have goodwill at the beginning of this process. In fact, they did not have goodwill during this process. And I must congratulate our team leader, Kalonzo Musyoka. He's a very patient man. He's a diplomat. And to South Sudan and across the world, he is a renowned diplomat. He was very patient for the sake of this country. But if those efforts are going to be thrown out through this nefarious scheme by the Kenya Kwanza government, then they better be prepared for the consequences. This is the clear message we want to give to Kenya Kwanza from this beautiful end of the world, just besides the Indian Ocean. The other issue we want to say is that the issue of corruption, endemic corruption and tribalism in this government is something that cannot go unchallenged. As we speak, Kenya has for the first time in recent days been added to the grey list of the world. The grey list is a shameful list of the most corrupt nations in the world. Those are the heavens of money laundering, the wash people. And indeed, Kenya has become a wash nation. Everything you look at now is fake, from the fake fertilizer. How do we trust these people? Someone who can pack donkey poop and put stones and add sand and call it fertilizer? Can you trust such a person? Can we trust these people who are calling themselves Kenya Kwanza? For us, we believe the rate at which we are going, this is Kenya Kwisha. Our country is going to the dogs. And we must call out Bwana Ruto, who has become like a Alibaba and his gang of 40 thieves, because they're stealing day and night from Kenyans. Now they've gone to the farmers. Kenya is an agrarian economy. We have over 80% earning a livelihood from agriculture. You promised them that when you enter State House, you will ensure there's guaranteed minimum returns to the farmers. Now that is not guaranteed anymore when you are giving them stones na mavi ya punda na mchanga na unaita hii ni mbolea. How are we going to grow food and remove Kenya from the list of food insecure nations of the world when we are allowing our wash friends in this government to give fake fertilizer and fake seeds to farmers? We will not achieve. So these are some of the issues we want to say as we speak. From the reports given, it is shown that the Kenya Kwanza government has entrenched corruption, and the most corrupt ministries are known. Kenya Kwanza government has entrenched tribalism. With that system of shareholding, we cannot have one or two shareholders wanajivunia kuwa wa Kenya and the rest wanavumilia kuwa wa Kenya. We cannot have this. From the public employment, right from cabinet to the PSs to the CSs, you can see the trend of shareholding where others are excluded and they are second-class citizens when they are main shareholders who are first-class citizens. Is this the Kenya we want? This is what we are saying, that even as Baba goes to Addis, and we wish him well, this Easter we want to call on our Christians as we celebrate Easter and the rising of Christ to pray for the champion of our democracy, Raila Amolo Odinga, the champion of devolution. Would like him to go and champion the unity of the African continent. The dream of Kwame Nkrumah of having the United States of Africa. We know Raila Odinga has what it takes. Let us pray for him so that he can go and achieve this, not just for himself, not just for our team Azimio, but for Kenya and for East Africa. We wish him well, but we want to assure Kenyans that we will continue. Our team is intact. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, who was our team leader at Bombers, is here. Our colleagues across the country who are part of Azimio are with us. we will continue fighting until we ensure that we do away with this endemic corruption and tribalism in this government. I think we want to thank you for listening to us. Na vile vile, we take this opportunity to also ask our Muslim brothers and sisters kwa mwezi huu mtukufu wa Ramadhan, pia waombee mzee wetu, waombee amani hapa kule Gaza na duniani kote. We wish you a happy Easter na Ramadan Karim. Asante sana.
Even any question? Pengine kabla ya hiyo swali itaje tu kwamba sauti ya mama.
Nataka mama mmoja ongea.
In fact nilikuwa nikisema hata huyu mama huyu anaweza kuongea na kijana huyu Deputy Secretary General wa chama cha Wiper kwa hapa.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Mashako wanaweza kuongeza.
So mama mmoja na
yeye. Ingine tu niseme basi tuwafurahia sana ukarimu na makaribisho ya dhati kutoka ndugu zetu wa Kwale. Watu wa Kwale tunasema asanteni sana. The blue economy is right ahead of us. But I think global warming is also a reality. Hali ya joto ndio hiyo basi. So asanteni sana kwa makaribisho na hata uvumilivu. Tutakuwa tukitajieni, tukuelezeni kutoka hapa tuelekea wapi, because we are doing the heavy lifting. The heavy lifting for the sake of this nation. Wacha tusikie mama huyu. Anaitwa Susan Kiamba.
Happy Easter to all Kenyans, and for the Muslim, the holy month. And I think this holiness is about risen Christ, who has delivered us from sin of the soul and sin of the body. Na tungependa kusema ya kwamba when somebody is liberated from the sin of the soul and the sin of the body, the person becomes more human. We wish as a party and as Azimio to state very clearly that the work which we have seen being done by the Kenya Kwanza government has continued to dehumanize Kenyans in very many ways. The most hurting for me as a woman is the very recent issuing of manure, because fake manure. 80% of the Kenyans you are talking about who are farmers are mainly women. And we are completely disturbed by the fact that a government supposedly for the people of Kenya can give fake manure to its own people. This is impoverishing women, this is impoverishing Kenyans, and this is getting us to anger. We have lost money through affordable housing, through all these other many taxes that has actually been put on the Kenyan person. Now, if we lose food, Kenya Kwanza, what next are we going to have? We wish the CS, Agriculture, Mr. Lituri, he should be at home now. He cannot be enjoying a salary when the Kenyan women, the Kenyan farmer is going to suffer as a result of this long-term impact of fake fertilizer. Secondly, corruption. Now, in most areas, especially in the Azimio areas, we have seen a deliberate intention to marginalize us in areas employment. A good example is the recent employment by KRA. They saw the data that it was intentional to marginalize our youth, our people who are going to look for that employment. We want to ask Kenya Kwanza, just as we have been contributing taxes, we have a right to enjoy our taxes. We are not begging, we are requesting them when it comes to resource sharing. Let's have inclusivity. Otherwise, we wish all Kenyans happy Easter. Let's rise with Christ with all the sins done. Thank you.
Asante sana. Niseme kwamba viongozi wangu wameongea, lakini niongeze tu kwamba haya masuala ya fake fertilizer, kwa kweli Rais William Ruto alipigania sana akisema kwamba wakulima watapata afueni anapoingia State House. Lakini sasa imefika kipindi wakati mvua ya Mungu ametuletea mvua nzuri. Tumekuwa na kipindi cha El Nino, tukawa kwamba tuna matarajio ya kupata chakula kingi. Alafu kwa ghafla tu Kenya Kwanza inatuletea fake fertilizer. Nataka kuomba kwamba wakati huu imefika kwamba kama kweli rais anapenda wakulima vile anavyosema, ni kipindi cha kuwa waziri wake Linturi aondolewe kazini mara moja. Kwa maana yake wakulima wa Kenya, hii haina mambo yale yanasemwa na naibu wa rais kwamba ni shareholding. Wakenya wote ni wakulima, 80% ya Wakenya wanalima. Kwa hivyo hii first fake fertilizer toka tuone kweli hii serikali wanajiita bottom up. Tuone basi waziri ametolewa ofisini, na ikiwezekana wale ambao manake ni ufisadi huu, wale ambao wameleta hii fake fertilizer kutoka kwa waziri na kwenda chini wachukuliwe hatua kali, ili tuone basi watu hawa wamepelekwa korokoroni na wananchi wamepata fertilizer ya kisawa. Na niseme kwa sababu mvua inanyesha sasa, sijui wana mpango gani, manake kama fake fertilizer ndio ile tunaona ni mavi ya punda na mawe, alafu sasa mvua nayo msimu mvua haingoji mtu. Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba the president must wake up and call his minister to order, ampeleke nyumbani na tupate fertilizer ya sawa ili wakulima wetu wasipate hasara. Asante.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Edith Nenze, Member of Parliament, Kitui West. And I'm here to wish all the Kenyans happy Easter. We are celebrating the risen Christ. And how I wish that the risen Christ could also come up with, could resort also to our government improving, especially on taxation. I'm going to talk about housing levy. We see that the government, at first, we were being told that it will be a levy where people would contribute, and then after that they will get houses, or and those who do not get houses, they will get some pension at the end of the day. But now it's a tax. It has become housing tax, and the problem is that people are giving out money, and a lot of money. They are being taxed 1.5%, and at the end of the day, you will not see that money, and that taxation has continued, even to the hospital fund. And what is happening is that the Kenyans now have no money. The payslip is reading negative. So if taxation continues, which is likely to continue, where will this money come from? Where will these funds come from? So my plea is that Kenyans wamechoka, punda amechoka kabisa. So why continue with that taxation? So may the risen Christ also rise with the changes and positive changes in our country. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yeah, uliza swali. Uliza huyo mama.
Okay. Uliza.
What FM? Milele.
Oh, Milele FM.
Media Max. Hujasikia demand? Ile maswet hujasikia? Kwanza hakuna mambo ya uombaji hapa. Umesikia wenzangu wengine tunaomba. Hapa ni Wakenya wahimize haki yao na haki zao. Swala hili la ushuru, kodi ya nyumba, ni swala ambalo litawapeleka hawa nyumbani bila shaka. Bila shaka. Because halina usawa, halina even openness na mambo kama haya. In fact, as I just left here, nikaenda pale, mmoja akaniambia sasa mtu ako na mortgage, okay? You already you are paying some heavy, alafu pia in addition to the mortgage unalipa tia 1.5%, and there's a lot of money. Ndio mimi nikasema this is another wash kind of situation. Wash. Na tutakubali. Kwa hivyo tumesema yale ambayo tumeyasema. Swala lako nadhani limpata jibu kwa mambo yote haya. Kuna mwingine?
But
Yes,
maybe
sir.
just to summarize.
Yeah. Oh, kabla summarize, what's your question?
Mimi natumai macha kwa media max. Nina bila kumesema kwamba kuna some kind of desire katika serikali ya kwanza. Okay, do you think that it's a high time Rais William Ruto to cut the whip among the cabinet ministers kwa sababu kuna some rotten elements.
Simekuwa imesema wazi hapa, waanze ni waziri wa kilimo huyo. Na wengine kama wengi, in fact wote. Sorry to say.
No, I think just to make it clear what we are demanding, that in fact by now, the Minister for Agriculture, Juan Linturi, who says he's not aware they are fake fertilizers, and his peers says they are, and police officers are arresting people with fake fertilizers. We demand that that minister, who is so clueless, must be sent home immediately. That is our demand. On health doctors, 2 weeks. We just came from Nyamira. We were in Kisi. Everywhere we've gone, even here the cost. We are saying we cannot pay doctors. And here we are creating positions for CSS, our friends who lost elections, being paid more than our young man here, an MP, some of whom were beaten by him, and they are going to earn more than him. Yet we are saying we can't pay our doctors. What is wrong with this government? That is one minister, apart from the agriculture one, who should actually face the music.
Yes.
We have the minister who was in charge of KNTC, when 16 billion shillings. We are talking of duty-free commodities being imported from outside. Money given to KNTC, and we did not see the value of that money. It was a scam. They said they will create something called Mama Pima for edible oils. Kenyans never saw that money. Why is such a minister still in office? We are demanding that if this government is serious about corruption, such a minister should be home. The G2G deal. Kenyans lost money. We've lost a very serious partner. Uganda is one of our biggest trading partners. Because of the G2G deal, we fell out to Uganda. We have a case in court. That minister for energy is still in office. We are demanding that action should be taken against such ministers. But lastly, we are giving a warning. On IEBC, if they are going to use state-instigated litigation to block the process, and they use the ruling of Justice Tande to continue and actually reconstitute IEBC, then we want to make it clear to Bwana Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza government, ya kwamba that will be a Kenya Kwanza commission. It will not be the commission of Kenyans. We will not accept it. That is not a demand, that is a warning. Thank you very much.
Sasa huyo jamaa huyu was our host, huyu ndiye chairman wa Wiper katika eneo hili la Kwale. Ajilisheni tu jina and move on.
Naam, jambo. Mimi naitwa Joseph Muki, ni mkaaji wa hapa Kwale, sehemu ya Lungalunga. Mimi ni mwenyekiti wa Wiper, and we have resolved to go for a government that will meet our needs. We do not have any other choice. Our choice is what you can see. Our choice is Azimio, and our president of choice is Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. We have all the trust that he will deliver, because he's moved around and he knows what Kenyans want. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Very good summary. Umefanya very good summary. Thank you. I love the summary.
And those who are following us on radio, the Pope has just arrived, and the priest and the faithful that have gathered here are welcoming the Holy Father. On behalf of Vatican Media, Vatican News, I would like to welcome all of you who are joining us for this special liturgy from around the world.